Good evening, Carbon. Everyday smiling. What's up, Scott? Thanks for scrolling by. Hi, Terry. There it is. Seabug on top of her game. My goodness. Thank you, Seabug. First confetti on every live, no matter who it's thrown by, goes on the sub wheel. Next sub wheel is tomorrow night. Let's get it right here. All the way down. Seabug throwing the first confetti. That's 2 in 1 day. Get it right here. All the way down. Seabug throwing the first confetti. That's 2 in 1 day. Little nerdy thing to do with our toned silver. We like to tone it. And maybe we'll get some good, some good tones tonight, like this monster toned Dragon Slayer here. This one is 7 of 20. What's up, little carp? Seabug beat you to it tonight. Thank you so much for the confetti. We appreciate that. Every little bit absolutely helps. Here's another little example of a toner. You might like something that's a little more antique. He's got a monster toned wing. I thought that was cool, so I left it like that. A little more antique kind of look. All right, so we want to get it going. We want to get this stuff in the juice. I got something, a little bit of a test tonight that we're going to do. I've got one of these Spreading Wings Dragons that is highly polished, and one has got a medium polish on it tonight. So we're going to put the medium polish here, and it's all by itself, so I don't forget which one is which. And we've also got a little Pirate Girl here from today's pours. These are all today's pours, except for one of these Dragon Slayers, and this one here is from last night. This is one that Momar claimed. Boy, I hope it's going to come out just right. We're going to put that one in there, and then we've got the little Minstrel of Mandalore. And then, of course, we have a sweet Dharma Initiative piece. That's one of Jack's working on his little pocket pieces here. I'm going to have to go back to the press to get that stamp in this one. I like this one because it had a nice blue and red kind of transition on one half and the other. And I tried to stamp it with little Jack Silver at the top and then put that. Didn't work out too good in the pitch bowl. That stamp is only, I think, 16 millimeters. And it was really hard to get in with the hammer. So I'm going to put that in the press and finish that one. But anyway, you got a couple of ideas, some examples of what we're going for. We also have something else a little bit special that we didn't do last week. We're going to try that again. And thank you guys for joining. Thanks for scrolling by. Hi, Metro Man. Hey, Sandman. What's up, Subaru Tech Kevin? Thanks for saying hello in the chat. Fizzing Duo Jim and Little Carp. Welcome, welcome. Glad you guys can join us. We love the engagement in the chat, folks. If you're doing a little scrolling tonight, happy scrolling as it may be. That's the TikTok way. Scroll in, scroll out. Maybe by the end of this live, we'll have some results for you on these beautiful 999 fine silver pieces. And really, it's all about you guys in the chat. We appreciate the likes. Thanks for tapping the screen and all that. We're going to show you what the kind of steps that I do to use my sodium hydroxide sulfur mixture. Just a little thing I'm going to say about that. I recently saw Double D had made some of his own mixture. And, I encourage people to make their own mixture. There's a video on YouTube that'll show you how to do it. It's not complex. A lot of people don't like messing with the chemicals. When you mix the two chemicals, number one, it gets extremely hot. It's amazing. As a matter of fact, when you mix the two chemicals and you let them sit overnight, initially when you get those mixed, you can't even touch the jar that you're doing. I do it in a big mason jar, and I do share my toner with folks. But I'm going to tell you, this is a little bit different than your liver of sulfur toning. Liver of sulfur is mainly just to get it black, get the highlights off, and kind of get something like this, all right, where you've got the dark background and a shined off foreground, another Minstrel of Mandalore. And I just got the slabs in today, Seabug, so we're going to get this baby slabbed for you. I love the gold and the rainbow coming up behind him, a little bit of a rainbow inside inside his guitar and closing there. That looks pretty cool. I'm really liking that round C-Bug. I hope you do too. That's going in a slab for you. And this one's going in a slab for Gary, actually. I don't know if Gary's out there tonight. Hi, Eric's Artistic Metal Pours. Thank you for scrolling by, sir. Thank you for throwing up those Jack badges. Appreciate that. Okay, so we're going to get right down to the nitty-gritty. And, last week I thought, well, I could use a stronger solution. So during the live, we could kind of speed up the process. Unfortunately, it didn't work out like that. I mean, our toners came out pretty good last week. We did a Purple Jesus, almost Purple Jesus last week. He came out pretty cool in the end, but it took a little bit of extra work after the live. This one we did during the live, got a little golden hair silver Jesus there with some blue eyes. You might be able to see in this light some of the blue eyes going there. Put it under the light box. Light box is a really cool thing to have, especially if you want to share your pictures and share the toning work. A light box is a little bit better than this lighting. This lighting's okay, but Justin, that's a little short for Jack, okay? I like a little more intimate touch, if you know what I'm saying, Justin. So if you're really interested in something, send me a DM and, let's chat a little bit. Thank you for asking. All right, Double D, there he is. I was just giving you a shout out, brother. All right, so what we're going to do with this is the toning juice. I do sell the toning juice, or I like to say share it. I share the toning juice. It's $10 for a half-ounce bottle. It should last you a long time. Typically what I'm doing is dipping a paintbrush in there and giving them a little paint job. But that would be putting the full solution onto here for our experiment tonight. Let me get a little... Some people like to wear gloves when you do this. Not a problem. I just usually give my fingers a little bit of rinse if I touch it. Not a big deal. And we got a little bit, as you can see, we got maybe 2 milliliters, I think that is. Very, very, very little teeny about. Oh, thank you for the love, Mo Mark. We're going to see if we can get this toned in the hour. But I'm going to put this under the faucet here. I got a little faucet here. And all I'm going to do with the faucet, let me just move this real quick, is I'm just going to take a little bit. I'm going to dilute this by about double there. So now I've got 2 lines of solution, 2 lines of water. And we're going to have to obviously pull more. That'll probably be enough to get 1 coin, but we're going to use our 2-handed method. And we're just going to put a couple of drops on our first coin, and we're going to spread that around just like that. All right, let's go ahead and hit Mo Marks. And we're really not trying to paint it or do anything specific. You might have seen a post that I did of the girl where her clothes are different colors than her face and the background. That takes a little bit more patience and a little bit more time to kind of get that kind of exactness down in whatever you're toning. But this is going to be great for tonight's session. We're just going to go ahead and get a little bit on there and put a couple of drops in there. So 4 pieces, couple of milliliters, and we'll see how it goes. I'll probably add a little bit more as I go. You can already see this one. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but it's already starting to turn a little bit yellow. It's already starting to lose that silver color there. And we'll do the same thing with this one here. Remember, this is the one over here is the one that does not have much of a polish on it. I did a little bit higher polish on these other ones in the Big Petrie. And the reason I did that is because I kind of wanted to see how much do I need to polish it to get the monster tone. Because what we've discovered is the better your piece is polished, the more you're going to get a tone. Now, remember, if you are doing any kind of minted coinage that comes from a mint, we don't recommend using this on numismatic. It can be used for fun, I guess, if you want to do it on some numismatic silver. But we only use it on poured silver here. So, numismatic, honestly, it just decreases the value. On your artsy stuff, some people like the toning, some people like it shiny, some people like it antique. So really, it's just about what the heart wants. Let's see who's in the chat there. Hey, Gabe, thank you for sharing the live. Really appreciate that, brother. Jughead, thank you as well. Wow. All right, Mista wants to know. She joined a little bit late, so she's got a little bit catching up to do. These are all 999 fine silver pieces, numismatic, throwing a little love. Thank you. That is the TikTok way. All right, so we are toning poured silver. I poured these pieces this afternoon, except for this one. This one was poured over the weekend, and this one was poured over the weekend. And all we've done is dilute our solution by about 50% from my original mixture. And while that's going to tone a little bit, I want to make sure that I got enough on there. I only used 2 milliliters of the sodium hydroxide mixture that I use. And just a little note, it's always a good idea to get the lid back on. You want to keep your solution sealed, airtight, and that's the best way to make it last a long time. You also don't want to risk spilling it over because, man, it would be a mess. And that's the best way to make it last a long time. You also don't want to risk spilling it over because, man, it would be a mess. You use a distilled water. Actually made this batch with distilled water, and I diluted it with some regular water. I'm not too worried about that. We're starting to get a little bit of darkness on this one here. So normally if I get a little bit of darkness, I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to give it a quick little rinse. A little bit of darkness coming up inside those lines, which isn't a terrible thing. Not the end of the world, but it's not necessarily what I'm going for. So I gave it a quick rinse. We're going to introduce something new that we didn't introduce last week. And it was actually inspired by Jeremy Malaysia last week. This is something I've done before, but he mentioned it during the live, and we weren't really using it because I don't have my hot water on in the camper. So I have a little, there we go, we're going to fire up the microwave. I got a little bit of water in a dish for rinsing. I'm going to heat it up in the microwave, and I'm going to set it here so we can do a little bit of a rinse in the hot water and see what happens. We rinse this one off. We put it right back in there. It's still got a little water on it. It's not a bad idea to dry off your pieces and kind of start fresh because if it does have water on it, it's just going to be more diluted. But the dilution is kind of working as my friend. All right, it's working with my friend because it's making the process go nice and slow. And I like it nice and slow because that's the way to do it. All right? Yeah. You don't just want to rush in there and get out. Well, I guess it depends. But numismatic art, thank you again. Mo Mark, thank you for the love. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you, Texas Ginger, for being here. So happy to have some mods in the chat. If I miss anything in the chat, mods are usually really awesome. Most of our mods have all done this before. Actually, some of them even use a little Jack juice. That's right. And if you're kind of scratching your head and you're going through here and go, man, this guy's got a yellow jar of piss water here. No, that's not what it is, folks. It's a sodium hydroxide and sulfur powder mixture. Okay. And if you mix it just right, you know, when I do the mixing of this, I do use gloves because it's a heavy chemical reaction when you first make it. After that, it chills out. It calms down, you know, and if you mix it just right, okay, it can make your stuff dark like this. This has been sitting in the juice overnight, and it made the silver almost black, right? This one didn't sit in quite as long. This is another awesome little pour. It's the M4A1 Sweet Little Silver 999 Fine Silver pour, and it's a pretty cool little pour that comes out really well. That one is unclaimed, by the way, but we're going to do something that we didn't do last week with your antiquing because it does take a long time with my juice. If you're going to do this, I'd recommend getting some liver of sulfur. Let's see, Infector. Let's see, when am I going to answer my question on your website? Yeah, the website's a little bit funky, man. Email me at jacksilver@dronesilver999. I'm pretty sure I responded to everybody on the website. But sometimes the message system in the website, quite frankly, sucks. Okay, so email me, or you can even text my phone number. My phone number is on the website as well. But Infector, I think you're the same person asking the other day, does he respond? I respond to all my messages, but I will be honest with you, the website is a little bit funky with the messaging system. So unless you're just trying to stay incognito, you know, text me at my phone number that's on the website, or email me. Write this down, Jack Silver at dronesilver999. It's really easy. dronesilver999.com. Obviously, you know the website, and I do appreciate you visiting. Jack Silver at, the at symbol is my email. No space in between. Just Jack Silver all together at dronesilver999. And like I said, if you visit the website and scroll to the bottom, my phone number is on the contact information as well. You're more than welcome to text me. How about that, Infector? You can ask here. I'd love it if you ask here. Holy moly. I am hawking this chat tonight, brother. I'm hawking it. All right, so we got to watch these. All right, because I don't want it to go too far, because like on this one, I gave it a little bit of a rinse and then add a little more. Let's get Infector's question. Mods, keep a close eye out. Let's see if we can get Infector to get his question through so we can get him answered. That would be incredible. All right, another one that's turning a little bit quick on me. Just going to give it a quick rinse off, because I do like the monster tonnage. I do like the blues, the greens, are the blues and the reds and the golds together, and we always like to show them in the light box. We're already starting to get that. I could have maybe diluted it a little bit more. It's going a little bit faster than I expected. We are waiting on Infector's question. Mister, I can't explain it any better. I saw your question and I asked it. Now, if you guys are going to troll me, our mods will just mute you. I already answered what it's about, mister. Okay? All right. And I'm not trying to give you any BS, and I don't put up with any BS. So we're glad you're here. But I'll say it again. It's 999 fine silver pours that I poured this afternoon. All right. Maybe I should just take another sip of my drink. And in the best terms of the English language, we are using a sodium hydroxide sulfur powder mixture with distilled water to tone the silver to get creations like this. Your question was why I showed these earlier. Okay, little monster toner. Don't irritate Jack tonight. All right, don't even try to irritate Jack tonight. We're having a good time. We're laid back, relaxed. I had an incredibly relaxed afternoon doing the whole live in third person. Almost. No, I love you guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for making it a show. What's up, Chucky? Chucky, your order went out today, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate that incredible support. We had a bunch of them go out today. And my question is above Mr. Okay, all right, well, maybe get a guess. Can I ask here? Maybe TikTok doesn't like you. Maybe TikTok doesn't like you. Try to be a likable person and get your question through. Maybe TikTok is muting you for a reason. I don't know. Lord Craig, thank you for those roses. That little bit of support helps a lot. Here's another one that's changing a little quick. I'm trying to set a good example here and not grab it with my fingers, and just give it a little bit of a rinse off. And let's just go ahead and set it back here. What's up, Bubba Grumps? Fordham, I see you. Hopefully I'm not missing anybody. What's up, Paul Hogan? I don't want to miss that comment. Yeah, Little Carp says, I'm not seeing the question. That's interesting. So I'm not the only one. That's good. What's the weight on the AR? Hey, that's a good question. Let's see here. The weight on the AR is 34.2 grams. 34.2 grams on the AR. See, when I see a question, I do answer it. I don't like to ignore anybody. Double D's another mod. He's not seeing it either. Infector, maybe just work on it a little bit. Okay, so while these are kind of getting a little bit of a tone, now notice that the one that I did a not so high polish on, I pretty much did these at the same time, okay? And on the one that I did a higher polish on, we're already starting to get some blues and reds and golds. I like that mixture. And, I was watching Lord Craig posted a really cool video. I think he's here tonight. I want a silver book cover. Well, there you go. Infector came through with this question. I want to say that's not a question. That's more of a demand. And, thank you for that. I'm not really good with demands either. Like the guy earlier that's like price. It's like, I hope he scrolled out of here, to be honest with you. Because, if you can't be personal, what does that mean? Price? Like everybody on TikTok is always trying to sell something. I get it. We're trying to share. We're trying to have a variety show here. We're trying to teach a little bit, explore a little bit, and get to know each other in the chat. I love you. Infector, I love you. You're making my show tonight. Thank you so much. All right. And Jack likes to share the love. You know what I mean? A book cover would be kind of cool. How big is the book? Now, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, right? They actually end with a question mark. Okay, let's go ahead. I can't pull that one up with that. I'm going to pull that one up with my fingers. All right, and just getting a little bit of rinse of those because when it starts to go a little bit too fast, we better rinse Mo Marks too. Holy moly. We're starting to get a little bit of red in there, and I really think this is going to make it pop. It's going to make it pop. Hey, Sombrero, thank you so much. I appreciate Sombrero. Thank you. All right. No, we're cool. We're calm. It's all good. You guys are just awesome. And thanks for tapping the screen. I can't believe we got almost 10,000 likes for my banter here tonight. All right. We're going to go back to the brush, folks. And now that we've got a little bit of water mixed in, I'm just going to go ahead and hit them again. All right, but what about these black pieces hanging out over here? I'm almost happy with the gold and red and blue right there. I could almost stop right there. I'm going to show you these under the light box. I can't believe how quick we got a nice blue, red, and gold there. So I'm going to rinse it, and I think I'm going to keep it like that. I like that. That's just, Oh, and look at the back. We got a little bit of tie-dye going on the back. There's a Jack Silver stamp in there. It says 999FS. It's got 21.9. It was so close to 22 that I was like, 0.9 grams, how many times have I given away 0.9 grams, not too bad. I like the Dharma logo. It's a 20th anniversary for this stuff. This one's got, I failed on the stamp on that, so try to ignore the ugliness there in the center. But I basically really lightly went over the surface to get that to shine a little bit more. So we've got red, blue, and silver instead of that goldish color. But let's while those are toning here for a little bit, and all I did was take some of the diluted water that's already in there and just applied a little bit more. Remember, we started off with 2 milliliters, and I believe that's what this is. There's 2 little things in here, and I call each one of these a milliliter. We filled it up this much with the toning solution. We filled it up this much with water, and that's all we've used tonight. That's it. So that's your first takeaway. It takes a very, very little bit if you've got your mixture right. Now, my water's cooled down a little bit, all right? But watch what happens with Mo Marks. I'm going to heat up. This is a Jeremy Malaysia tip from last week. In the meantime, all right, I've got a little black bar here. I mentioned earlier that we let this sit in the juice overnight, all right? And this is a very, very fine steel wool. I think this is the finest steel wool that you can get. It wasn't very expensive, but we're just going to lightly go over our image here. Now, this is a super low relief onion burger. And I thought, man, this is going to look like a cool little vintage bar here. All right. Infector would depend on a few things. Main cost would be the weight of the piece. Very good. Good question. All right. But I was mentioning earlier about Lord Craig. I saw your comment, Lord Craig, just now, and I just wanted to finish that because I started that earlier. He showed his pictures in stages on the video that he posted where he did a little bit on the wings. And then he did a little bit in the background, and he kind of staged it out. I really liked that. I thought that was super cool. And hopefully I'm not missing anybody's comments here tonight. Mods, thank you guys so much for staying on top of it. Another thing here, the edges, I didn't really quite finish the edges that much because it just kept taking off silver, and sometimes it gets to a point where it's like, man, I'm just going to waste more silver by turning it into dust. Or we could take a little, maybe even a little soft hammer job. If you've got something like this with a round edge, this is a hammer that should be in your arsenal. Because what we can do is we can put this in our pitch bowl, is what I prefer, and then just go around the edges very, very lightly. All right. Now, I promised I would do a sub-only live on some of my post stuff, and that's more for that. We'll do more of that on the live later. But I did want to show you when you're antiquing that little bit of that steel wool. Now, we could keep going, and we could keep brushing, all right, and really kind of just make the onion pop, all right? The more you do it, the more it's going to get the black stuff that's toned off, okay? And on the back, if you've already stamped it before you do this, what happens is your stamp, and it stays black. So you got the Jack Silver 999. The rest of my stamp didn't come through because it's a thin bar, and I didn't want to hit it that hard. And, that's what you need the pitch bowl for. So the pitch bowl, I've already given that away, is part of your process. Momark, thank you for those things. Thank you. To cheer you up. I'm cheered up, Momark. I'm cheerful tonight. All right, we need to get a little rinse. Let's take our hot water. All right. Ooh, it's hot. It's steamy. It's definitely steamy. And we're going to take Momark's piece here that's had a little bit of juice on it for a little bit. Let's see if I can grab it with this. Nope, I can't. We're going to go ahead and dip that in that water. I'm just going to dip that in that water and set that right back and watch what happens here. We're going to see what happens. I used to do this in the kitchen in the house where I can, hit the hot water right out of the faucet. So that's just a little microwaved hot water there. We better take this, do the same thing. This helps you get some nice reds. When you dip it in that hot water, woo, it's hot. All right, it really starts to turn the stuff that's gold into red as soon as it comes out of the water. All right, which is pretty cool. And since the surface of this hasn't toned quite as fast as the background, now if we want, we can use the Lord Craig method and, take a little bit, dry it off a little bit. Because remember, if it's wet, it's going to be more diluted, and maybe hit a little bit in those wings and just see if we can get a little bit of red in those wings like we do in this side. I really like the way he did that. And so we're going to try to almost recreate that. Let's take this one here and this one, since those are already turning our colors there. So this one, we've got some blues, some reds, some of the gold. I should have done it in the hot water, okay? I want to try to get some more red on this outside, just a little bit more red. So what we'll do is we'll go back to our diluted solution that's sitting in the dish, and we're just going to give her another hit all over of the solution. Yeah, Infector, if you're still hanging out, I'm kind of wrapping a book cover around my head. I got too many questions for that. Let's see what happens to this guy. Did another one of these last night. I don't know if you guys might have saw the post. He almost got a little bit too red and too purpley. But you know what? The gentleman that I made this for loved it. He liked it a lot. So I was very, very, very happy that he liked it. And that's all I got to say about that. So this is actually, I did a thumb rub on this one. I wanted him to stand out a little bit more because the background was kind of, tie-dye-ish, kind of psychedelic looking. And I thought, man, I need to kind of separate him a little bit. So I took a dry thumb and I just thumb rubbed him. Gave my little minstrel of Mandalore a thumb rub. So you can see that it kind of stands out a little bit better when you do that. Now, here's the thing. If I take this and I put it on this, even when it looks like this, it's going to turn into this. All right? Your steel wool will take all of your colors and kind of blend them and get rid of. Now, you might be able to have some color left if you did it really, really lightly. But here's a little tip for you. If you want to leave the color and you want to get that surface polished off more. This one you got to be really careful with. All right. In my pitch bowl here, where'd it go? I have a little piece of 5,000. Now, 5,000 or 8,000 grit sandpaper. Here's the thing, okay? If you do it too much, all right, you're actually sanding the silver, and you can take silver off even with a 5,000 grit sandpaper. All right, so we saw a little bit of coloring into the red on this. We're starting to get some reds and some dark blues in his nose and eye there. So we're taking our time. We're being patient here. Rinsing my slimy fingers off because it is a little bit slimy. If you leave that stuff on your fingers, it'll take your fingerprints right off. So wear some gloves. And let's go ahead and get back into our juice here and just give it another hit. And just a reminder that we only started off with 2 little lines, 2 little milliliters of our solution. And then we split it with the water. Any of the extra water is kind of left over from rinsing since I didn't really dry them off that well. So that even dilutes it a little bit more. And I'm telling you, I think it works in my favor. I think it works in my favor when I do that. All right, so we'll take this one. We're going to dip it again. Water's cooling off a little bit. It's not quite as hot as it was. And we're just going to set that there. Well, let's look at that one in the light box here in just a minute. The toning will change over a period of time, Paul Hogan. If it's not kept in an airtight container, yes, it does take a long time. It does take a long time. Now, that also depends where you live. All right, I've got a coin here. I don't know if I can pull it out or not. I got a coin here that I left out on purpose. Now, I live down by the coast here in Texas, and this coin I'm about to show you is no jack juice. It's just sat out, and it actually sat out in the house. Okay, let's pull this one out. Here we go. Check this out. All right, this is just what happened to it naturally from sitting around here in the southern salty air. All right, and I didn't touch it. That's how it toned. Didn't wash it. I didn't do anything. I just let it set out, and I started to see the color change a little bit when I had it left out. And this is a Kronos round. It's got the queen on it. It's pretty cool. But this happened over a period of a few months sitting out. So it depends on where you are. If you're in a northern drier climate, maybe some parts of the year, and then you got, your high humidity in the summer, it's probably going to change a little bit more in the summer than it is in the winter. All right, but kind of cool. It looks antiqued, and I didn't even touch it. That's from leaving it out. So some folks might be able to make a recommendation of what they put on their silver to keep the color from changing. Lord Craig says you can seal it. Other than a airtight container, you could put some, Everbright, I think is what the Stewarts used. And I've heard some other recommendations as well. We got a little bit of unevenness on this. I'm going to give it another quick dip here and see what happens. Now, when that happens, when it starts to get uneven, the next time I brush it, I'll probably just brush this part of the coin because I want to kind of get the contrast of it. So we'll just put a little bit of solution on that side this time and see if we can kind of get this side to catch up to that side. Make sure your seal is tight. Give it a good shake when you use it. That can help kind of keep it even. Mixing it with water and then shaking it to make sure you got a good blend, because what happens is there's two different things. Either I polished the silver more here than I did here, and I didn't polish it evenly, or I've got a little more concentrated solution on this side. It's one or the other. It's one or the other that can happen here. Good questions tonight. I really appreciate you guys' engagement in the chat. And let's go ahead and get this one dipped in the warm water now. It's not hot anymore. And, we were hoping to get a little bit more red in there, and we did, but we've got a lot of dark blue in the lines. I'm kind of liking that. Okay, so I don't want the blue to go anymore because the next stage after blue is kind of gunmetal or it'll even start to turn black like we saw on the onion burger. Okay, this is kind of your last and final stage. So it goes gold, red, purplish blue, okay, depending on if you stop it in time, and then it goes to a dark blue, and it'll kind of, if you leave it on too long, it'll almost do a funny thing. It'll do a funny thing here. Before it starts to turn black, it'll turn to a light blue. And this could have been just how I polished it to do that. So now let's say I don't want this to get the blue to change. I want the blue to stay the same. That's where another little applicator can come in handy, and it's a little felt tip pen. All right, so we take the felt tip pen, and where we want it to get a little more red, I'm just going to hit this area with a couple of dots around the blue. The ship turned nice and blue. I kind of like that. But if I want it to be a little bit more red in those areas, I'll just hit those little areas where it's still gold and hasn't quite turned red yet. I'll let that sit there for a second, and then I'll rinse it with some warm water. All right, Momarks. Let's give it another dip here and see if we can get that other side to change. Now, we can get some Real Monster colors on this. We can also take our little, if we want to get a nice silver finish on this, and again, this is very, very, very fine. It's 5,000. I use 5,000 and 8,000 grit. And I can just lightly take this over the top very gently, similar to what we would do with our steel wool. But the difference is the sandpaper is not going to get down in those cracks or down in the lines of the image. And so now we can make this Dharma logo pop by really getting the silver to start to stand out. And again, I'm not doing it too heavy. I'm just going to go little by little, take my time. When it comes down to these little finer details, you're going to take a little bit more time getting that color out. And I'm not the huge fan of using the sandpaper. I don't use the sandpaper very much, because if you do it too much, you'll actually take off silver and change your weight, especially if you're close to 21.9. You know, I do a bunch of sanding on that to finish it off, and now all of a sudden it's 2.8 or 21.8. So 21.9, I really don't want to mess with that. So we go to the thumb rub. My thumb is nice and dry here, and my thumb doesn't go down in the surfaces. Watch what happens with my thumb. My thumb is even finer. I still might have a little bit of that yellowish look, but the sandpaper will help us get a little bit more of that silver out a little faster. This is kind of like if you had it in your pocket over a long time and you played with it for a long time, and the background, like on those old coins, the background kind of gets black. All right, we're starting to bring that out just a little bit more in this Dharma Initiative logo. A little bit harder rub with my thumb. I'm not too worried about messing with the color because my thumb doesn't go below that line. Even though it's a super low relief, it doesn't. Let's keep an eye on this one here and see what's happening. Now this one we can kind of do a little bit more. At this point, it's just kind of up to your eye here. I really want to get to that red color. I don't want to get any more in the center because I kind of like the blue-red contrast there. So I'm going to dry it off. And once again, just focus around the edge here a little bit more. I might have to use a little bit more solution, but we did a very, very, very small amount of solution here. Let's go ahead and just get her. Probably should have hit her in the warm water instead. I didn't. All right, I'm kind of liking this just the way it is. We got the ships in the background, the dragon flying up here, a pirate girl in the front. Everyone is really unique. It's another cool thing about your poured silver. You know, it does help it kind of pop a little bit and stand out differently than just your antiquing does. All right, let's take a moment here and jump back in the chat with you guys, see how everybody's doing. Jerome loves this. This is amazing. Hey, I'm glad you like it. It's not for everybody, you know. And again, I'll say again while we got a few people here, do not do this on your numismatic silver. Okay? It just, you know, I mean, if you've got a piece that you've cleaned, number one, you don't want to clean your numismatic stuff. You want to leave it as is. Cleaning it, toning it, just depreciates it. If you got a piece that's already depreciated and you want to have a little bit of fun, well then you might end up with something like, can I find it? You know, I got a feeling I'm having deja vu. I looked for it last week. I've got a Morgan dollar here that I'm not proud of, so I'm not going to show it. But I made it a really dark blue. It was an old Morgan dollar. It wasn't any kind of particular anything with it. And so I got it clean, and then I put it on the toner to see what would happen, and it turned blue. And I don't recommend doing that because, again, I just basically took value away from that coin. Kind of keeping an eye on Mo Marks here to see what happens. I think this one's done. I think if anything, you know, I might give her a little bit of a little thumb rub in here. Or again, we can go back, and if I want to make her body silver, you know, I can take a little bit of this sandpaper and very, very lightly just kind of hit that surface to bring out a little bit more silver. So we're just kind of making it lighter where it toned. We're bringing it back a little bit and see if we can make the skin on her pop a little bit more. Got to get her abs, the top of her breasts there, her neck, her face, and just a little bit of a slight difference there. So now, yeah, I'm kind of digging that. Not too bad. Not bad at all. Okay, I think that's a keeper. I'm going to hold that one where it's at. Would like to see a little bit more on the back. But another cool thing you do, if you do the, you know, you could do the back without doing the front. We could put a little bit on here and just let it sit for a little bit. And then we could polish off the back so we could get the letters to kind of pop and the stamp to pop a little bit more. That one's really well stamped. It's got almost the whole jack stamp in it. So it might be a good one to let the back tone black. Just make sure if you're done with the front, you don't get any more juice on the front. Again, you can make this juice at home. I learned how on a YouTube video, but then I experimented for months on getting the mixture right so I could get the stage to go through the colors. You know, I think it's just a little bit of your creativeness there to go in and kind of dilute it the right way and kind of go slow at your own speed. And we've kind of neglected this guy down here just to see what happens. This one is done. And I'm glad that we were able to do this in less than an hour tonight. We got some really good results by diluting it. I still would like to see a little more fire over here under this wing, like this one here. So I'm going to dry it off a little bit. Take a little bit of the diluted toner that's in the bottom of the dish there. And one more time, I'm just going to, yeah, it's going a little bit all over the place. Too much. Be a little more precise here. We're going to use the felt tip, a little paint pen. And these are metal paint pens, so I do not fill them up with the juice. I just use them to give them a little dip in the solution, shake off the extra, and that way I can kind of be more precise in the area that I want to hit. Thank you guys for joining Tuesday Toner. And just a reminder that if you join a live event and you're the first one to throw a confetti, you get on our subscriber gold back wheel every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 p.m. We spin for gold backs. As long as we have 50 subscribers or more, we continue to spin for 3. That's 9 gold backs a week coming from our subs and Jack. We're just going to let that one set aside a little bit. And Unholy, thank you for sharing the live. Appreciate that. There's Daniel. Daniel likes to scroll by for a little toning session. For those you don't know, I'm gonna let it out of the bag. Daniel was one of our drone techs. I think he's still a drone tech. while we're kind of waiting on these to see what happens here, I'm going to give it another little dip. I'd like to maybe heat my water up a little bit more. All right, but don't forget, if you don't freshen up your water, you've got toning solution in the water from rinsing it. So it's not a bad idea to switch it out if you want to keep your water clean there a little bit. Okay, our details in our pirate coin are starting to pop a little bit. And this is one that I would probably try to get a lot of colors in between here as we go. Just got to work with a little more. I'll probably be working with it more after the live. But let's get it with another little thin coating. And I think what I need to do is just get a little dab with the paper towel here. That way when I... Thank you for that. Who was that? Thank you, Archie Will, for the confetti and the fire. Thank you so much, Archie Will. I haven't seen you before. If you've been here before, I appreciate you coming back. If you're here for the first time, thank you so much for joining us. And that is one of them here tonight. This is the one that was a little higher polished. I didn't see a really big difference other than the fact that where I polished it higher is a little bit shinier. And you're going to see that on some of the Dragon Slayer release. We had a limited release of 20 on the Dragon Slayer. A little bit of a dip here. Try to get some of my extra off, so I'm just hitting the rim here. I like the contrast between the red and the gold we got so far, but I'd like to get a little bit more red down and in here. This one we're just kind of letting go. We just keep kind of hitting him. We may have rinsed him once, but we're starting to get some reds and blues there. Where do you see him under the light? Hey, RT Will, I appreciate that. Send me a DM if you see anything that you're interested in. This is a company logo that D-Man commissioned Jack to do. And I love doing that kind of stuff with company logos. I'm not sure exactly what he's doing with them, if he's collecting them or giving them to employees or whatever like that. I'm going to ask him. I really think the round hammer on the edges would kind of make this look a little bit cooler. So you can have a little bit of fun with it and play around with that. While that's getting a little bit of tone, let's take this and let's hit it with our steel wool here. It's our sniper. For those of you that don't know, Jack does a game called Coin Snipe. Coin Snipe is kind of like a fast auction. This is the only piece that I'm showing tonight that is not claimed, by the way. So I do appreciate the claims on the pieces that I make. You guys are awesome with your support. This one we can even see the M4A1 in there. Came out really good. And we hit it with a little bit of this. And boom. There you go. All right. Wait for my lead, Carbon. Wait for my lead. All right. We got a little shameless promotion going on here. If you see a yellow heart in the chat, these folks are pouring silver as well. All right. And I always like to give them a shout out on almost every live that I do. Throw a yellow heart. Now's the time, Carbon. Throw the yellow heart. Double D. There we go. See, Double D waits for it. Thank you, Double D. Love you, Carbon. You know, throw that yellow heart. There she is, Texas Ginger, Bubba Grumps. These folks are the people you want to check out. The algorithm brought you here for a reason, after all. And those yellow hearts, you want to check them out. Thank you, Carbon, for the reminder. If you wouldn't have done it, I almost forgot. I love you. All right, so I really like how that comes out after that. I could have toned this one a little bit darker there. And, check out these folks' contents that are throwing up the yellow hearts. They're all good friends and family. And they've been hanging out here together with Jack for the last couple of years. So my hat's off to them for following a nut like me. All right, thank you, guys. Pretty cool detail on this. I don't think I have an AR out to show you guys, but I think those all shipped out. The AR is pretty cool. You can see that in my posts. And, boy, I tell you what, though. If you want to see something crazy tonight, One of our good friends in the group here tonight has got he's doing a little bit of this, except he's doing it on his face. Does anybody know who that is? Yeah, I'm just about to shout out. You better go check it out tonight. Scroll by the Fizzing Duo. I dare you. I dare you. They're going live in about 10 minutes. Okay? So scroll by there. Don't get the wrong idea. It was a challenge. I'm going to defend my bro a little bit because he's a sweetheart. Oh, I'm making myself choke here. All right. So, hey, I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's toning session. Momark, I'm going to continue to work on this and get it balanced out here. We got a little bit more red happening on one side or the other, and I think Momark likes monster toned. But I think if I can continue this red around the side, I might have to use a little stronger juice. My point was tonight, and the reason I didn't use more juice for this, which is what I'm going to probably have to do, is to show you how much little you have to use to really get some cool effects. I mean, we toned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces tonight with 2 milliliters. And if you were wondering what happened to 7 today, number 7 is in the 20-sided die, 10-sided die times 2. You got to like those, huh? These are not claimed, believe it or not. And I am willing to share them because I do appreciate it. And happy to make some more, too. But all the numbers came out really good. The signs cleaned up. Lord Craig. Thank you, Lord Craig. You know, you guys have figured out by now the price on my fractionals is a little bit higher than buying it over an ounce. I'm pretty standard for an ounce is around $55 an ounce, unless you want a slab. I did get more slabs in today. If you haven't seen the Drone Silver 999 slab, check it out. We do put the Drone Silver 999 logo here. I print out and I sign it, the details of the round. I got more in today, so I'm all set for the Dragon Slayer release next week. I'm super excited about this release. Another cool little thing to show, my good friend Joel at Buffalo Bullion made this for us. And I got to turn it and flip it right. This is included with every round. It's brass. It's laser engraved. So you'll get your piece. You'll get your slab. And if you get the slab, some people chose not to get the slab, but everybody's going to get one of these with mine on the M4. Yours. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Momark. All right, just a little over an ounce, and that's yours for $60. All right, plus ship, and I've already got you shipping for your round next week. So I'll get invoices sent out by the weekend. As soon as I get everybody slabbed and ready to go, I get the COAs written out. And I got a mental note right now. Craig, Momark, make sure you just send me a DM to help Jack out a little bit. I do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, Subu. Thank you, Subu. My heart's beating for you. Thanks for helping us almost hit 10,000 likes tonight for a little Tuesday toner. Let's see what's going on here. Take a quick little pause and take a sip of the drink. Before we run out, I'm going to heat this a little bit more. Let's get our water heated up. I'm just going to heat it up for about 15 seconds. Victor, thanks for scrolling through. Pixie, thank you for the roses. They smell so sweet. All right. Oh, thank you, Subu. Yeah, we got some good results tonight. At the end, the last 5 minutes, we're going to go into the light box and see what kind of results we got here. I was really hoping that I could do this without using any more juice tonight. But I'm just going to put a little bit more Momarks for our last couple of minutes here and see how that comes out. Now, Momark, you're always welcome to give me, some advice. If you'd like something to look a little bit differently, that's part of my premium. I don't charge extra. It's already built in, So whether you're getting a fractional piece or an ounce or more, ooh, it's steamy. It's steamy. Give it a second to cool down. Some of us love our toned silver. That's just kind of how it is, Some people like it shiny. Some people like it monster toned. And some people like it antiqued. So I like the antique look on the Emma's Onion Burger. Thank you so much for that confetti. Who threw that? Fizzing Duo Christina. Oh my gosh, it's almost time, folks. I'm going to wrap up before 8 o'clock because I got to jump as well. Yeah, those are the smaller dragon pieces. These are the smaller ones. All right, these are $2 a gram on these. And I do tone them. Or antique them, however you want. I've got you on the list, Subu. So it always helps me out to send me a DM to let me know. I like the dice shiny. I think the dice are the only thing that I like shiny so far. I mean, I'm really digging that. 88 double infinity. All right. Lord Craig claimed the dice. Momark claimed the M4A1. Thank you for that, you guys. And if anybody else sent me a DM, I do appreciate that. I also did a little Dharma logo. I did a little extra thumb rub on this to kind of make it pop a little bit with a little silver to blue-red contrast. Before we jump out of here, we got 4 minutes left. Let's give Momarks another quick dip. And then we got to give the Baby Yoda a quick dip here. I shouldn't call him that, to be honest with you, because that's really not his name. He's the Minstrel of Mandalore. All right. So what I'll do with this one, to kind of match what's happening over here, I'm going to, same thing we did with Momarks. I'm going to keep hitting a little bit over here to try to get some contour, you know, and maybe a little here and a little bit up here. He kind of looks cool now, and I could just leave him as is. We hit him with the warm water, and we already start to see that starts to turn dark with that warm water with a little bit of the solution. Ooh, look at the back. I'm going to hit it one more time. And the last couple minutes, we're going to jump into the light box. Thank you guys again for joining Jack's Tuesday night toning session. I hope you had a great Tuesday. Thanks to everybody who's also here for this afternoon's live. And it was 2 pour Tuesday, although we are probably going to pour 2 at a time in the afternoon from here on out. Bubba Grumps, thank you so much for hanging with us. Let's get the light box fired up. And before we jump out of here, let's just take you over. There we go. Take us down into the light box here real quick. You can see now this one, there's a little bit of a, it's not really a secret, but all you want to do is put some juice on it, you know, and then rinse it, put some juice on it, rinse it. And the way to get that solid, even color tone all the way across is to kind of just keep a nice even mixture and rinse it and do it again, rinse it and do it again. And I was watching Rios Precious Metals coming up with some killer toner where just all purple or all blue, all the same color. And I'm like, yeah, I got to learn how to do that. I got to learn how to do that. So rather than ask him, what's your secret? I just figured out it on my own, and then I'll share it with everybody else. All right, let's get our dragons in the light box first, a couple that we did tonight. Let's get a good zoom in. See how the light box just really makes them pop. We didn't really finish getting a little bit more red in this wing like I like to. That's something I'll have to continue on to work on a little bit. And then we've got, I'm really digging that one. I don't think I'm going to do anything else to that one. That's super cool. Those are both 19 grammers. Those are on the heavy side of the small pieces, just to let you know. Our Pirate Girl. Oh, I'm digging that. I'm digging that. A good toning session tonight. We were able to do it in under an hour, Jake. Welcome, Panther. Thank you for coming back, Panther. Thank you, Sissy, for joining. Little what we got from our Tuesday toning session. And take a look at our Dharma underneath there. That's pretty cool. I'm digging that. Those letters are so small. I can't believe that they came out. Here's an antiqued one, a little more antiqued with no colors on the Freedom's Guardian. And just a reminder, this is on Cults3D.com. For those of you who want to download a Jack Silver original and pour it for yourself, it is $4.95 for the download. You can print it and sell it. It is for commercial use. Here's a little monkeys. Thank you, Sissy. We got the primate profit play. Some monkeys around the Fed table playing with their coin. All right, and then let's go ahead and just rinse him off. He's been sitting for a little bit. I'm going to stop the pirate coin as well. Hopefully we'll start to see a little bit of our effort pay off there. Let's try to dry it off here a little bit. Don't forget, reminder, tomorrow night, folks, coin study. We are going to continue to dive into the top 100 VAMs for Morgan dollars. Tomorrow night, we'll start with 1879. 1879 Morgan dollar and work our way up. We did 1878 last week. We should be able to get through at least 2 years because there are less VAMs. Thanks for the wows. Yeah, I'm always in my camper. I park my camper in front of my house, and I cook and play video games in the house, and that's about it. Maybe watch a movie now and then. All right, Momark, let's see what kind of progress we made in an hour on yours. Also, I just learned, keep your sipping cream in the refrigerator or it will spoil. All right, who would have thought that? I mean, it is called cream, but I stuck one of the wands in the sipping cream and I threw it in the fridge after it sat out for 3 days. I'm drinking it anyway. All right, like I said, we'll see how we started to get a little bit more red action here. I really kind of like a red rim going around here. I really want to do a little bit more work on it, Momark, just to kind of make it pop more evenly around the edge. If you like it as is, that's fine too. Send me a DM. I don't mind working on it more. That's what I hang out and do. So thank you so much. This is a prototype. You know, every once in a while, Jack gives folks an opportunity to grab a prototype. I'm going to do a little bit more work on this, Momark, and I think we can make it pop even more. I really do. So thank you so much for that support. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you for joining us for some toners. And thank you, Momark. I will. And then let's see here. What else? Oh, somebody was hitting me up for some steamy slices. All right. They sent me messages, and I'm trying to figure out where I wrote it down. Make sure you send me a DM again just to remind me. Somebody was trying to build their pie. I thought it was Jake, and it wasn't Jake. Maybe it was Jake. I don't know. Thank you, Ratfink. Hard Knocks Meadows. That's all right. Next Tuesday, we will do another Tuesday toner session. We'll go through it all again. It's a learning, growing experience. You know, it's all by experience. The more hours we get into it, the better we get at it. And you guys joining me here for this, you know, that counts. That counts. It's your time in, you know. And maybe a few of you will even get some Jack Juice. And not Jake. I know somebody that started with a J. That's what happened. That's what happened to me, Jake. So I appreciate your clarity on that. Thank you so much for helping Jack out. They'll be scrolling through eventually. All right. But hey, thank you again. I do have those set aside for whoever was asking for those steamy slices. Somebody was trying to build a pie and wants to get the pan. And I had it written down and I can't find it. I fail very rarely. But, you know, Jack Juice went out in the mail for Carbon yesterday. That's the same juice that I'm using tonight, just so you know, Carbon. So, same thing with Little Carp. I sent some juice out to him a few weeks ago. It's the same distilled mixture that I've been using on these lives. So, again, tonight we learned it's all really about how you dilute it. You know, it really is. All right, good night, everybody. Jack's got to jump. Thank you guys so much for being so cool in the chat. And you guys are awesome. I should have got some. It's $10 for a bottle, but again, my point tonight was to show how much little you need to get some amazing results. Does not take much at all. And next time you get something shipped, ask for a bottle. And Double D is pouring tonight. You know what? You're right. Double D is pouring tonight. We're gonna have to do a little bit of scrolling. Good night, all. Peace. Hopefully you'll stop by tomorrow night for coin study, gold back spins. I will be mold making in the afternoon for those of you that would like to scroll by. We look forward to seeing you. Have a great night, everybody. Woohoo! Peace. Thanks for the 7 confettis tonight, you guys. That helps out a lot. Remember, first confetti, if you do scroll by tomorrow's afternoon porn session, first confetti goes on tomorrow night's gold back wheel. Seabug 2 for 2. Look out for Seabug. She could be snagging a gold back this weekend. Thank you so much, Subu, for that extra support. It helps a lot. Little confettis make a big difference. And look at that. He just helped us hit our goal on a Tuesday night. We're not even spinning for gold backs tonight. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Love y'all. Peace. Keep my heart beating for you. Talk to you soon.